Boys, we're back, and today we got a new video. We got another tier list video. As you can see on screen, we got 5 different categories here. We have great, good for its time, mid, and just don't care. We're gonna go through, I have 25 different rivalries from the UFC throughout the years. We're gonna rank them as accordingly. And there's some here that are like, they were good for its time. A perfect example, Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate. I think it was good for its time. Does it hold up today with all these other, great rivalries we have? I don't personally think so. And before we begin, let me know in the comments below if I am missing any of them. Let's keep moving down. Some of these are just single fights. Some of them are trilogies. Some of them are just 2 fights. But we have 25 total different trilogies here. Let's start off with, this is in completely random order. Let's start off with a trilogy. We have Rampage Jackson versus Wanderlei Silva. And to be honest, it was good for its time. Do I think it's going to be able to stack up with these other rivalries? No. I think for, women's MMA as a whole, we have to put Ronda a little bit above this guy, but these are some good rivalries. We had a trilogy for Jackson versus Silva. I know all their fights were good. Let's keep moving down. We also have some newer guys here. It's not just old school fighters. We have some newer ones, like a classic. This is a good rivalry. I might have to put it at great for now. We'll do some fine tuning towards the end of the video, but we got Garbrandt versus Dillashaw, a classic rivalry. 2 former teammates turned to rivals. Great. Unfortunately, at times the actual fighting itself wasn't that competitive, but a really fun rivalry. Moving down, one that this might be very controversial, but for some reason people love this one. I just don't care for Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. I didn't care for this rivalry. Maybe it's because I'm not the biggest fan of these guys being so close. Both of them saying they were brothers, all this shit, best friends, and then just immediately switch up on a dime like that. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I didn't care for the build-up. I didn't care for the fight itself. It just seemed very scripted to me, and yeah, I just don't care about this one. Moving down, another great rivalry. We have Michael Bisping and Luke Rockhold. Probably gonna put it, do I put it above TJ and Garbrandt? That's the question. Honestly, Bisping sold this rivalry, and I'm gonna keep him at great right now. Maybe I'll move TJ and Garbrandt down for now. Again, we'll do some fine tuning towards the end of the video. Moving down, Dominic Cruz, and honestly, you can do the whole alpha male team itself. You could even do Cruz versus Garbrandt. Dominic Cruz was really out here soloing a whole team, so I have to put it at great. Let's keep moving down. This is a good, is it that great though? I'm going to do good for, it was honestly pretty mid, to be honest. Both these guys, yes, this is more of a recent one, but the rivalry between Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman was the definition of mid. But let's be realistic. The trilogy, mid, the second fight they had, Leon having the lucky head kick, but yeah, I think it's a mid rivalry, to be honest. I don't think, yes, it's a very competitive rivalry, but what I want in rivalries for majority of the time, as you can see, the greats and good, I want there to be some tension between them. There wasn't really any tension between these two, I'm not gonna lie. And no rivalry is complete without having McGregor here. We have a bunch of different McGregor rivalries here. They only fought one time. They went on a worldwide press for this. Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, one of the best rivalries we had. Yes, it was a very one-sided fight, and it lasted only a few seconds, but the entire build-up to this fight was amazing. One of the best rivalries that we had, and I don't know if I don't want to glaze it too much, so I'll put it, I can't put it over people like this just because the fight wasn't that long and it was only a single fight. But yes, this was one of the better ones, but I can't justifiably put it as the best rivalry. There's definitely better rivalries, which we'll get into. Moving down, honestly, another mid one. Realistically, this shit was so mid. We have GSP and Matt Serra. Mid. I don't know anyone who would say that this is their best rivalry. It's mid. It's not even that good for its time. Even in its time, it was mid. Moving down, we got more Bisping. We got Bisping versus Henderson. I think this one was good. I could realistically put it in great, but the second fight wasn't that great or anything. The rivalry, it's not as big of a rivalry between Bisping and Luke Rockhold, even though they are kind of like friends now. I can't put this rivalry in great, to be honest. Let's keep moving down. A goated one. You know, we got Max Holloway, Volkanovski. Not that much tension. There was some tension leading up to their third fight, but all around, if you're looking for some of the best skill for skill type of matchups, all 3 fights of Max Holloway and Volkanovski are some of the best fights you can watch. I'm putting in great. It's one of my favorite rivalries, and it's saying a lot considering there wasn't much like tension between them like some of these other guys. Just straight up, who is the better fighter? And we found out Volkanovski has that number. Moving down, some even these ones are good too. I don't know if I want to put it in great. I think I have to put it in great, but I'm trying not to let recency bias get into the way with all these other guys. But I'm probably going to put it over Luke Rockhold. Again, not as much, trash talking back and forth stuff. Yes, they did not like each other, and they did have some pretty good fights. The first and second fight were really entertaining, especially the second one was a lot closer. But yeah, you have to put Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya in a great rivalry tier list. Moving down, I don't know where. Honestly, it was good for its time, but at the tail end of good for its time. We got Henry Cejudo and Mighty Mouse. It's good for its time. There wasn't much trash talk. There wasn't that much tension between each other. It was just trying to figure out who was the best guy, and they're 1-1. It was good for its time. It's nothing special nowadays. A great rivalry. We have Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell. To be honest, it might be because of all the promotion behind it. Dana was very, very much behind this. The trilogy, we won't talk about the trilogy, but the first and second one, it has to be up here. Even though Tito was trying his best to avoid this fight, it ended up happening. It has to be one of the best ones. And I'm not going to put it over Volkanovski, but it's right there. And it might have to do with all the promotion and how much Dana was behind it. Maybe that's why. But moving down, we have a lot of heavy hitters now, to be honest. Let's just start with some heavy hitters. We have my favorite one. This is the best rivalry in the UFC, and it's not even close, to be honest. People say, what about Khabib and Conor? It's not close to this one. People may like this one a little bit more, but me personally, like I've been saying, I like to have some conflict between people, but there's a point in time where it's just a little bit too much conflict, and that's what happened with Conor. Conor was just a salty, angry guy in this fight, and I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. I did like the build-up and stuff, but it was a single fight. I can't put that over Volkanovski and Max Holloway. But this one, who cares if he popped for PDs in their second fight? This is the best rivalry in the UFC, bar none. By far the greatest one. Then, we have some good ones here. We have Moreno versus Figgy. I'll probably move this here. I'm probably going to have to move Conor versus Aldo down. I can't. This is goated, to be honest. But I don't want to stack up this great list, because we have a bunch of other guys here. So Figgy Moreno, I have to keep it at great. It was a great rivalry. And, a very competitive back and forth fight as well. Every single fight that they had was very, very, very competitive. Let's stack up some other ones here now, because I don't want to overstack great. We have, I'm going to put, it's good for its time. Maybe it can sneak into good. We have John Jones versus Rashad Evans. I think this one was good. John Jones extremely arrogant and cocky in this fight. And, just saying that it's his time, Rashad Evans is old. It's past his prime. This is a good rivalry. It only lasted one fight, but it was a good rivalry. Some more ones that still stand up to today. We have some classic lines that I don't think GSP's hurt. I think he's scared. We have GSP versus Nick Diaz. Classic. You have to put it up here. And probably one of the biggest rivalries we had in the old era of the UFC. Moving down to another mid one. I honestly do not care for this rivalry. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. Maybe it's because Colby kind of sold it at the end and said that, it's all love, blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know, it just came off as extremely fake, and we already know that Colby is playing a character. It was mid. It was extremely mid. A lot of Kamaru's rivalries are mid. I don't even have Jorge Masvidal's here, because I would have put it in don't care. That was a rivalry that I didn't care about. Another good one here, we have Silva versus Sonnen. Again, probably one of the better rivalries that we had in the old UFC. But I can't put it above these guys just because Sonnen is just too fake with it. Maybe it's just because we can see through the acts now, but I was never the biggest fan of his trash talking. I'm still gonna put it in good. I'll put it at the top of good, but I was never the biggest fan of it. We have 4 more to go to. All of them are great. I'm gonna quickly look down here to see if there's anyone I want to move down to good. I don't think there is, to be honest. So we're gonna stack up this great category. First one, honestly, I'll put Conor versus Dustin Poirier in good. I think this is a good one to put in good, just because, let's be honest, the first one, that was a good rivalry. The second one, Conor switched teams and was a nice guy. Then he switched teams again and was a bad guy. I don't care for, I could honestly put it in the I don't care section, but I'm going to put it in good for now. It was just a weird one, to be honest. I'll put it in good for its time, even though it wasn't that long ago. It was good for its time. Then we have another great one here, Izzy versus Pereira. They're kind of like over that rivalry now. I mean, he got that one win and bounced out and never wanted to fight him again, but this is a great rivalry. Honestly, one of the better rivalries we've had in the UFC. I'm going to put it over Conor versus Khabib because they only fought one time. These dudes have fought countless times, not just in the UFC, but outside the UFC. This was a rivalry with big stakes on the line, especially their rematch in the UFC. This is one of the most hyped up rivalry rematches that we've had in the UFC for a long time. And that win that Izzy got over Pereira looks really great on his resume. We got 2 more to go with. Honestly, I might have to put this at mid. This just seemed like extremely forced to me. The beef that they had between each other, Stipe versus DC, it just seemed very forced. It didn't seem like they actually hated each other. You know, it seemed very forced. It was a good trilogy, semi-competitive here and there, but it was mid. And then the last one, we have Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. This was a great rivalry. Do I put it over Conor versus Khabib? Honestly, like I said, it comes to a point in time where the beef is just too much, and I wasn't a fan of how angry this version of Conor showed up. And then I can't put it over these other ones. Maybe I can do this and this, because like I said, these ones were very competitive. These were competitive as well, but it had a lot more hype behind it. This is my list. Let me know in the comments below. Did I miss any rivalries? Did I put these in a stupid order? Let me know everything in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video, and there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.